Zala camera on. Sulagno camera on.
Yeah. सही है.
Camera center line करो. Side में दिख रहा. Center line करो. Get the camera to your center. Camera is a bit on the side. Cool. Better. It's better. Cool. Zala,
बोलो.
do not allow anybody before 4. Except sir.
Okay.
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 Nobody will be allowed into before 4.
Okay.
गौरव आप वो हर्षिता को ऐड कर सकते हैं, मतलब अलाउ कर सकते.
Ashita, camera on. I expect 4 of.
Yeah, just a minute.
What the speaker's name? Just forgot the speaker's name.
Debiprosad Duari.
Amazing.
Sir, Dr. Duari is coming within 350, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It did not come till now. If I see him, there's someone called Subhar Rekha Bhattacharya.
Yeah, she's our physics professor.
Cool.
सीधा तो तुम मेरे बाद बोल देना वो चीज,
या
मतलब कैमरा ऑन करके बोलोगे या ऐसे ही बोलोगे?
फॉर व्हाट?
वो जो मेरे मेरे बाद जो हर्षिता थोड़ा सा बोलने वाली है,
क्या?
मेरा बोलने के बाद बोला था ना हर्षिता बोलेगी थोड़ी,
हाँ,
वो वाला पार्ट।
तो हम क्यों बोलेगा?
नहीं नहीं, हम हर्षिता को बोल रहे हैं।
Yes, Shlomo, did you say something? I didn't hear.
बोल रहा था तुम्हारा जो पार्ट है बोलने का, वो कैमरा ऑन करके या ऑफ करके बोलोगे?
कैमरा ऑन।
Okay. And read out कर सकते हैं कि लॉन्ड ही बोलना पड़ेगा?
लेट्स सी और
ऑन करके दिक्कत तो नहीं होगा?
नहीं, I'm fine with it.
ठीक है ठीक है।
Okay.
तो इस बीच मैम इज है। गुड आफ्टरनून मैम।
गुड आफ्टरनून मैम।
अच्छा किला। हाँ हाँ, एक नहीं बोल सर। अच्छा गौरव, तुम वो डॉक्टर दुआरी को ईमेल पे लिंक एक बार भेज दो, क्योंकि वो ज्वाइन नहीं हो पा रहा है, पासकोड इनकरेक्ट बोल रहा है।
तो यू सेंड इट टू, आई डोंट हैव हिज मेल आईडी।
मेरा आईडी आई एम गिविंग यू राइट नाउ। ওকে স্যার, হ্যাঁ বলেছি আমি পাঠাচ্ছি। হ্যাঁ স্যার। স্যার ওই dpduari@yahoo.com তো? হ্যাঁ 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 হ্যাঁ, ঠিক আছে স্যার, এক্ষুনি এক্ষুনি।
wait, it's being sent through Dean's office. So you call Dean sir.
या द लिंक भेज दिया ना डॉक्टर द्वारी को.
डीन ऑफिस भेज रहा है, मैम को बोल दे, मैम सेंड कर रही.
ठीक है ठीक है. डीन सर को कॉल करें.
टेल हिम दैट सर ये बात है, आप ज्वाइन कर दिए.
ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है, अभी करता हूँ. হ্যালো স্যার.
হ্যাঁ, এতক্ষণে দেখা গেছে, দেখতে পেয়েছো? আমি পেয়েছি। দাঁড়াও।
হ্যাঁ স্যার.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So I made you the co-host, as Devamama told. I made you the co-host. You can share.
Okay.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Sorry for my shabby look. I just totally forgot because I have so many things to do. I forgot to shave.
No, sir.
अच्छा गौरव.
Yes.
Dean sir can't join the meeting. Can you send the link to him?
So ma'am is talking to sir. You'll be
Ma'am
there.
is sharing it
Ma'am is talking to sir and also talking with why he is not able to join.
because Sad is not. Sir, ma'am भेज रहा है.
Yes, sir.
अरे लिंक भेजो यार।
सर मैंने मेल कर दिया वापस सर.
कहाँ अभी?
हाँ सर, वापस किया आपका.
कौन सा एड्रेस में किया है?
सर प्रोफेसर दिलीप सर.
एक मिनट, हम आया है। आई एम क्लिकिंग, जस्ट वेट, बी ऑनलाइन।
यस सर.
ओपन जूम मीटिंग, राइट?
हाँ सर.
दिस मीटिंग इज फॉर ऑथोराइज्ड अटेंडेंस, साइन इन टू जॉइन।
हाँ तो साइन इन करिए सर.
एंटर योर ईमेल, ये सब लिखना पड़ेगा।
हाँ Okay, so I'll remove that if you want.
ये ईमेल पासवर्ड तो मैं खुद ही भूल जाता हूँ यार.
तो आपका
जीमेल फेसबुक से कर ले.
हाँ सर, आपका फेसबुक अकाउंट है तो फेसबुक से कर लीजिए, एक ही बात है.
I had the same problem also. It was asking me password, email, everything, but suddenly it worked. I don't know why.
So
Maybe you have to allow everybody. That's the thing. Admit all or something like that.
Yes, sir. This is a secret.
Yes, sir. I'm just doing that.
Gaurav, it was something like the institute mail ID से login करना पड़ रहा है, ऐसा कुछ है, तो तुम वो allow कर दो सबको अभी के लिए.
You have to allow, otherwise they cannot come.
Yes, sir. I already did.
We do that, sir, for yes, sir. We do that for security, like for security issues that nobody
Yeah,
else
but
can.
unless you allow automatically now see the numbers are increasing.
Sir, that is they are joining through the mail ID only, sir.
So Shulagno, you are there. Jalak, you are also there. Very good.
Yes, sir.
So let us request all the participants to please switch on their cameras. Dr. Durai is also there.
Yeah,
Nice
I'm
to see
here.
you, Durai.
আমাদের কলেজের ডিন
Good to see you after a
ইউএসএ
long
বসে
time.
আছে ঘাসের
Oh yes, it's after a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been quite a long time. I remember it was the Ad Club ka seminar we had met.
Yes, I still remember also.
And yeah, and we were getting some recognition. And I remember that you were introduced with a lot of high praise by Miraj Shah.
I think I'm fortunate.
No. You certainly deserve it.
Thank you so much.
I didn't expect that so many people will come for a science-related topic because the mood is pandemic, right?
Yes, that's the whole thing. But I am also I was apprehensive whether we can have something, but a lot of young people told me that just to take away our mind from this death
It's
and
excellent.
destruction.
I think that is the best thing to do. I mean, the mind has to be taken off this.
Yes.
That is one of the ways of. So, Jalak, are we waiting for someone? What is it like?
No, sir. We can start. Like people are still joining in.
Sulagno, where is Sulagno?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Sulagno is there. Very good. Divya is also there. Very nice. Good. So Sulagno, ultimately all the hard work that you did in coordinating has fetched results, huh? So
Yeah.
Sulagno has been active in getting to you, getting to me, getting to you, getting to me. Good. But that's the spirit. Sulagno, don't give up. You must always be relentless.
Yeah, I also appreciated his effort, when a continued effort.
Absolutely.
He didn't lose hope and continued actually.
Very good. I'm so happy. And I'm happy for all these people who have come. They're present. So Zalak, you want to start? You can start.
Okay, sir. Hello, everyone. Yes, sir.
It's a
hello,
only students. Yeah, Zalak, go on. Yeah, go on.
Okay, sir. Hello, everyone. I am Zalak Shah. So, like, we can start this. And firstly, I want to welcome our guest, Dr. Duari. Thank you so much for coming. And now, like, Dilip sir to say a few words, then we can start our webinar.
Zalak, I thought that you will say a lot of good things about the speaker. Anyway, I will do that.
No, please don't do it.
Okay. Dr. Durai I have gone through his resume, but I'm not going to read the resume out because it is going to be quite boring. I'll also request Sulagno to say something. Jalak, can I speak after Sulagno has spoken?
Yes, sir.
If we can request Sulagno to speak a few words.
Yes,
Sulagno, please speak something.
तो फ्रेंड्स, चलिए शुरू करते हैं आज का ये इवेंट जिसका नाम है मीट द साइंटिस्ट। दोस्तों, आज का ये शाम कुछ खास होने जा रही है क्योंकि हम सभी एक कॉस्मिक क्वेस्ट पर जाने वाले हैं। इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि आप किसी रॉकेट पर चढ़ेंगे। हम लोग ऑलरेडी एक गोलाकार स्पेसशिप में बैठे हुए हैं जो हमें हर वक्त स्पेस की सवारी करा रहे हैं। दोस्तों, हमारे साथ इस वक्त एक ऐसी इंसान मौजूद है जो सितारों के बहुत करीब है। ये हमारे देश के जाने माने एस्ट्रोफिजिसिस्ट में से एक है। आप लोग में से जो भी एस्ट्रोनॉमी पे रुचि रखता हो तो आपने जरूर इन्हें टेलीविजन पर देखे होंगे। दोस्तों, मैं बात कर रहा हूँ none other than the legendary astrophysicist डॉक्टर देवीप्रसाद द्वारी जी की। नमस्कार सर। सर, ये मेरा सपना था कि आप जैसे शख्सियत को मैं कभी वेलकम करूं और हम सभी बहुत लकी है आपको हमारे साथ पाके। थैंक यू सर। Now, I think Harshita would like to say something about Dr. Duari. Harshita, please.
Well, yeah, thank you. Welcome, sir. Okay, so Dr. Debiprosad Duari is an internationally renowned astrophysicist, educator, and researcher. Presently the director of MP Birla Planetarium, he is also a fellow of the Royal Astronomical Society and a member of International Astronomical Union. He is a researcher associate at University of Manchester's Institute of Science and Technology. Sir, all of us are very glad to have you with us this evening. Over to you, Shlogna.
Now I think Sir Dean sir wants to say something about this.
I'll briefly say. See, Dr. Duari, I met him once a long time back at a gathering at, I think, Calcutta Rowing Club. And that was the time he was introduced to me as a person of great vision, a person who has worked in the United States. I think he has also worked with NASA, and he has done a lot of things. If you go through his resume, then you will come to know how many engagements, how many interesting assignments he has gone through. We will not get into that at the moment. Friends, be inquisitive. We all have this quest to know about the cosmic. And I think that Mr. Duari, Dr. Duari is the right person. Here he heads the landmark in Calcutta, as all of you all know, is the Birla Planetarium, MP Birla Planetarium, as you now call it. And he's the director there. And I think that this could be considered as a small beginning that we have with Dr. Duari. In future, if enough people are interested, because I know that a lot of people are interested, many of you all have approached me that, sir, if we can have a club for talking about astronomy, seeing stars, understanding stars, constellations, etc. Many students have come and approached me. I think that there is an interest for that. So if you're interested in something like that, then we can ask Dr. Duari to guide us and how we can start that initiative. That is where we'll also like to rope him in. It's just a beginning. Maybe he has come to the campus also in the earlier programs. But this program is very different, Dr. Duari. This program is organized by the students entirely. And Sulagno, you know. And I'm just there to help and assist them and facilitate that they are able to do it well. So they are also learning to organize, and people like us ought to come forward and assist them, strengthen them. They'll make mistakes. They will learn from the mistakes. But believe me that they have a lot of enthusiasm and energy. If we can get that energy put together, and if they can start a small space club, they can talk about constellations, stars, and things like that. There can be a little course that we can run also on that front. If that kind of a thing can be initiated, I think Bhawanipur will be very happy. I would personally also be very, very happy. So Sulagno has taken all the interest. Zalak is here. There are others also. And it would probably be wrong to think that everybody over here is student of science. They may not be, because stars and space intrigue everybody. It intrigues me also. And I'm not a person of science, but I love watching stars. I understand and I can identify some constellations, not many, but some of them. So those sort of things. And it's very, very interesting. As a hobby also, it's wonderful. So those kind of things. And I think that Birla Planetarium is the place where you can learn and there cannot be a better person than Dr. Duari. So it's learning time, it's exploring time, it's question time, it's inquisitiveness. I am reminded about Newton when he says that as a great scientist like Newton feels that after having done so many things in life, he says that I feel as if I'm walking on the shores of a sea and I feel that I'm just picking up pebbles. I know nothing. And the entire ocean lies unexplored. And he was talking about the ocean. We can talk about the space. We might know a little bit here and there, little about the moon, maybe a little about the sun, maybe little this. But believe me, we are on the shores of the vast, vast universe, which Dr. Duari will get us to explore. And I think everything lies unexplored. We know just a little bit. We are just about picking up pebbles. So with those words, I welcome Dr. Duari over here, and I welcome all of you to this afternoon where you are going to learn and you are going to ignite your curiosity to learn more. So with those words, thank you very much and welcome, Dr. Duari. Over to you, sir.
It's really a privilege
Hello.
to listen to such scholarly words as Professor Shah was telling. Believe me, my friend, astronomy as a subject is just another subject. Some of you may be afraid of, some of you may be inquisitive of. But what astronomy does, it connects the vast outer cosmos with our inner self. To understand who we are, what we are, especially at these very critical moments when our resolutions are being questioned, our resolves are getting shaken just for our existence. The question comes within ourselves, what potential do we have? And in that aspect, I have to tell you, to comprehend the vastness of nature and to find the link to yourself with this tremendous large extent of space and time makes you feel a little philosophical. Philosophy isn't needed every moment of our existence, but when we are at a critical juncture in our life, our society is at a critical juncture, these questions sometimes lifts off a little bit of the burden of the panic, of the fear, of the despair, of the pandemic, and try to realize and understand that our chance existence in this earth, our chance existence of our own body and mind is a small part of a very big scheme of events going on. And to look at it with a retrospect, to look at it with an introspection as well, may ease your mind a little bit out of this tremendous pressure that we are feeling for the last, at least for the last 1 month or so. So the country lies in the hands of you people, the young generations. Though it may be ruled or governed by very elderly people, but the country that is running and will run, the whole responsibility lies on your young shoulders. So in addition to your academic excellence achievements, your professional achievements, you have to be mentally very strong and emotionally a visionary, not to judge today or this moment, but to see life, not only yours, your surroundings, your society, your parents, your relatives, your friends, as a connected collective, which is a part of the human civilization, which itself is a very small part of this whole universe. So without wasting much words, I will try to go to my presentation by sharing my screen. And I hope I can really try to talk to you regarding the sky, regarding the cosmos. By the way, can you see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
I'm just going for the presentation. Just tell me tell me whether you can see the presentation. Can you see the full page presentation?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Fantastic.
Yes, sir.
The topic of our today's discussion is our cosmic quest. Not our or the cosmic quest, our cosmic quest. Because as Professor Shah was mentioning, not all of you are a student of science. But believe me, my friend, in the last 10 years, I myself am amazed. Students studying law, students studying humanities, students studying arts, their professors, they have approached me because they want to find out a little bit about art in astronomy. The space laws, what are the new ways to do it, and how our literature has been affected by astronomy. Actually, a couple of my PhD students, they are actually majors in one in English, one in Bengali in their post-graduation. And they are doing their PhD in astronomy and literature. So, as Professor Shah was mentioning, it's an amazing subject. It's a melting pot of concepts, ideas, human values, and human inquisitiveness. I can see the background of Professor Shah, and that itself is so amazing. When he is looking like, I congratulate you for your mental space, for your richness of your mind. Thank you very much. But before we start, as I told you, we cannot get away from the reality. So in these critical moments, for all of you, my young friends, to succeed and survive, I personally feel, accept and adopt to the reality. Don't imagine things may happen, things will happen, either good or bad. Whatever is the reality, the ground situation, accept it and adopt to it and act cautiously as well as positively. Because, my friend, mind plays a much bigger role in our existence, true sense of existence, than our body. If the mind is fearless, if the mind is active, if the mind is proactive, you can do a lot. You can do a lot for yourself and your surroundings. Thousands of years back, when our ancestors used to look into the sky, they used to wonder, what is sky? Where is sky? What is the position of the earth with respect to the sky? With these set of questions and queries, the subject of astronomy was born. So astronomy can be considered as one of the oldest subjects that human minds have dwelt upon. At the same time, given the huge number of news items that you regularly get to see in televisions and newspaper channels, you get an idea that it is also one of the most happening subject, contemporary subject of importance. It is the only subject which deals with a vast expanse of space and times, and also promises us to unfurl the mysteries of universal nature. As I was mentioning, how the subject has become tremendously important. The Nobel Prize, the highest prize probably in our society, in a global society, 1901 to 2000, only 3.5 Nobel Prizes were awarded in astronomy or astrophysics or cosmology or what is known as general theory of relativity. Whereas from 2000 to 2020, 6 Nobel Prizes, 17 Nobel laureates were awarded this. And this statistics itself will tell you, give you a hint, how important the subject has become globally. Even the last year, 3 people won this Nobel Prize for astronomy and astrophysics. Now let me go to our next slide. And amazingly, you have to understand that this revolution of new concepts and ideas is fueled by a revolution happening in technological sense. Every country, developing, underdeveloped, fully developed, they're desperately trying to build newer and newer facilities, bigger and bigger observatories. Just to give you an idea, in this inhospitable terrain, in the Swiss Alps, they have built this observatory called Sphinx Observatory. The cost of it was $50 million. Mauna Kea, a small island in the Hawaiian archipelago. There, 15 countries have built 12 telescopes at a height of 14,000 feet above the mean sea level. The smallest one cost is $300 million. But you'll be very happy to know the largest telescope is not yet born. The work has started, and by 2024, hopefully, it will start functioning. The world's largest telescope is called TMT, 30-meter telescope. A telescope with a 30-meter diameter mirror at the heart of it. The cost of building this telescope is so large, not a single country is able to do it. 5 countries are collaborating to build this telescope: USA, Japan, China, Australia, and India. In 2018, in the Lok Sabha, the then Prime Minister declared that the Indian contribution for building this telescope will be 1,700 crore rupees for one instrument. And that tells you how important astronomy has become even to our country. And you also know in 2016, a landmark event happened. 100 years back, in 1916, Albert Einstein gave his general theory of relativity, where he showed gravity is not a force as told by Newton. Rather, it is the curvature of space-time created by the presence of a mass and the amount of curvature telling other objects how to approach it. And he showed that if two very heavy objects are going around each other, then there will be a ripple in the space and time called gravity waves. And they were discovered in 2016 by 2 fantastic instruments in the US. And we will be very happy to know one of the first international collaborators of this LIGO project, Laser Interferometric Gravitational Observatory, is India. Down south, it has started building Indigo project, and it will be one of the technological marvels costing thousands of crores of rupees. And India will be in the forefront of at least science and technology in astronomy and space science. Obviously, in other sciences as well, but nowadays we are having a very bad international publicity about our scientific community in the terms of these tremendous sad things that is going on around all of us. The night sky. Thousands of years back, our ancestors used to look into the night sky and used to inquire about what is the meaning behind those lighted dots, but they couldn't find a meaning answer. So in their desperation, what they did, they chose different parts of the sky, identified closely spaced stars, joined those stars through straight lines, and created imaginary figures. In this way, the whole sky was divided into 88 regions, each region being governed by an imaginary figure, which we today call constellations or Taramandal. You may ask me that these are all imaginary. What is the relevance in nowadays, in this modern technological generation? If you ask me, they still have not lost the relevance. Just to share with you a personal experience, the Indian Army's Advanced Commando Training School in Belgaum, I had to go there number of times to teach the fresh batch of Army commandos for 6 nights how to read the night sky. Because if you can read the night sky properly, without a lot of sophisticated instrument, you can get a lot of information around yourself. Just for an example, suppose a batch of you has gone for a hitchhiking trip, night has happened, moon is not there in the sky, you have lost your way. Suppose somebody told you in the morning, if you go in the eastern direction, there is a locality. Which is the eastern direction? If you happen to see the Saptarshi Mandal, or the Big Dipper as it is called in the Western parlance, take the last 2 stars, join them in your mind, produce it onto the sky, it will heat up on a single star, and that star is a pole star. The moment you get to know the pole star, you know which is north, south, east, and west. So even today, these sort of imaginary signs and signatures do help us in our regular lives. Now let us talk about the sun, the earth, and the moon. You may be wondering, these are all LKG 1, LKG 2 stuff. Why I'm telling you what I'm telling you. But believe me, if any of your brothers or sisters ask you, Dada or Didi, today I learned in school that Earth is going around the sun. What is the average speed? What is the average velocity with which it is going? I have seen a lot of us scratching their heads. 29.5 kilometer per second. Imagine a car, even your Tesla, anything, Bugatti, Ferrari, Lamborghini, 29 kilometers per second. You'll say, no, it's not possible. But you're forgetting, you, me, 780 crore people, millions of life existing on the surface of Earth, every second of our existence, we're moving with a speed of 29.5 kilometers. Amazing. I will also try to impress upon you, my friend, that though we feel very powerful as the most intelligent animal on Earth, and some of us feel more powerful because either of their power or their money, but believe me, all of us, every speck of life should understand that our presence on Earth is an accidental existence. Life is just a result of series of chance happenings, accidents. I'll talk about it. For example, season changes. Season changes occur because Earth is going around the sun around an axis and it goes around itself once around another axis, and these two axes are not parallel, they're inclined at an angle of 23.5 degrees. And because of the inclination at one part of the year, sunlight falls directly onto the north and slantingly onto the south. It becomes summer in the north, winter in the south. 6 months later, it becomes just the opposite. It now becomes winter in the north and summer in the south. You may again ask me, okay, I understand because of this accidental tilt, the season changes occur, but what's the big deal? Do you know, my friend, if there were no change of seasons, what would have happened? If there were no change of seasons, there would have been no ocean currents. If there are no ocean currents, there will be no air currents in our atmosphere. And if there are no air currents in our atmosphere, clouds would not have born somewhere and gathered somewhere else and give us rain and fresh water. Life would not have been possible because just after Earth was born, it would have been a barren desert. So you and me exist now, my friends. It is because one of the accidental thing is that 23.5 degree tilt. Solar eclipse. Sorry. All of you, at least some part of your life, you have seen partial or total solar eclipse. And it's an amazing phenomenon. And we all know one side is the sun, middle is the moon, one side is the earth, sun's rays falling onto the earth, earth's shadow, sun's rays falling onto the moon, moon shadow falling onto a part of earth, and people staying on that patch of land at that point of time will see as if the sun has vanished, right? It's a simple phenomenon. But I'm sorry, in our society, there are still so many taboos. There are people who are called astrologers. They will try to tell what precautions, what actions you should take because of an eclipse. But my friend, as the tree leaves, they tremble in a wind. As the rain falls, as the river flows, similarly, time to time, eclipse occurs. It's a natural phenomenon. This beautiful picture taken from space. See how the shadow of the moon has fallen on the globe of the earth. And people staying on that patch of the land at that point of time will see a total solar eclipse. It was during an eclipse, scientists discovered the sun as a new avatar. They found out from the surface of the sun, milky white radiation coming out, which cannot be seen on the other times. When they asked themselves the question, what is causing this? They were amazed with the answer. They found out from the surface of the sun, every second, 1.6 million tons, 16 lakh tons of charged particles on average come out from the surface of the sun every second. The average velocity, speed of these charged particles are 460 kilometers per second. With that speed, they have enough energy. If they hit any atom or molecule, they will instantaneously break up. Basically, that means if I now just go and stand on the sun, the charged particle coming from the surface of the sun, the moment they hit my body, within fraction of a second, my whole body should disintegrate, evaporate. But I'm alive. How? I'll come to that. Tides. Another very important aspect, because it is because of the tides we are here. Yes, my friend, because life on Earth first originated on oceans. How did it come onto the land? It is because of the high and low tides, life was transferred to land, and from there different animals, different organisms occurred, monkeys occurred, and from the monkeys we have arrived. So that we are here are because tides are there. But what causes the tide? A lot of you have the answer: moon attracting the water. But my friend, sun attracts Earth 173 times than the moon. Then why do you call it is moon which is attracting, causing tides? Because tide is not a force. It is the result of quite a number of force over unit distance, or what is known as force derivative. G m1 m2 by r cube for science students. That is the reason, since moon is only 384,000 kilometers away and sun is 15 crore kilometers away, moon wins. But a lot of our teachers in our primary school days never told us sun also attracts the water on the earth. Do you know how much? 47% than the moon does. Not a small amount. Suppose I am standing here. Above me is the moon. So moon is attracting the water towards it. So at my position, there is a high tide. After 24 hours, because of the rotation of the earth, I will come back at the same point. By that time, moon may have shifted a little bit. So roughly after 24 hours, I should see another high tide, right? But how many high tides a day? At least people in Kolkata, banks of Ganges or Hooghly, they know 2 high tides. Why? Because suppose I'm standing, the moon is above me. A point of the water gets attracted towards the moon, but faces 2 forces. One is the gravitational force towards the moon. One is the centrifugal force. Because as moon is going around the earth, it is facing the centripetal. And according to Newton's third law, the opposite reaction, centrifugal force, is faced by the earth and the water on the earth. But the gravitational force on my location just below the moon is more than the centrifugal force, so water bulges in my direction. Just 180 degrees away from me, on the other side of the globe, the centrifugal force becomes bigger than gravitational force, and water bulges in that direction. So next time you go to Sagar Islands or Digha or even Kolkata, and you see a high tide, tell yourself, the high tide I'm seeing now, and with this very point of time, high tides are occurring at the rivers of Mexico, and opposite to almost West Bengal. That's the reason 2 high tides a day. Beautiful picture of the moon taken almost from the surface, Earth arising from the horizon. What is moon? According to the scientists, 452 crore years back, or 4.52 billion years back, a huge ball of rock came and slammed onto the earth with such a force, huge amount of surface material got gouged up and was thrown up in space. It couldn't go away forever, but going to a very vast distance for millions of years, it condensed, coagulated, coalesced, and has given birth to our moon. This theory goes by the name, the collision-ejection theory. So my friends, some of you who never knew should amaze that moon was born out of a collision with Earth. So its origin is basically the Earth itself and the body which collided. Let us start our journey in space and time. Why did I use the word space and time? Because my friend, in 1905, we came to know that light, any light, travels with a speed. The velocity of light is roughly 3 lakh kilometers per second, right? Distance from sun to earth is 15 crore kilometers. 3 lakh kilometers per second light's velocity. So if you do a small calculation, you can show light takes 8.3 minutes to come from sun to earth. That means tomorrow in the morning, when you see the sun, probably trying to do a Surya Pranam, you have to tell yourself, the sun I am seeing now, this is the image of the sun as it was 8.3 minutes back, and I'm seeing it now. The closest star, Proxima Centauri, 4.2 light years away. Today evening, if you see the star through a binocular, you can tell yourself, the star I am seeing now, it is the image of the star as it was 4.2 years back, and I'm seeing it now. Amazing. So next time, your younger brother or sister tells you, please take me to the Science City, spend $50 on a time machine ride. Don't. Any clear night, go out into the open, tilt your head. The deeper you are looking into your own past. We forget that the moment we look up in the sky, we are doing an instantaneous time travel to the past. That's why looking at the dark depth of the sky creates this fascination, imagination, ideas, because we are not only traveling in space, we are traveling in time as well. The first stop of our journey, obviously the solar system. Sun with all its major avatars, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Poor Pluto has been kicked out. Sun. Sun is a ball of gas, right? You all know that from your childhood days. But tell me, my friend, if you take a football, pump in a lot of colored gas, cut open the football, will the gas inside remain like a ball? It will diffuse out. Then how come Sun being a ball of gas doesn't spread out in the sky but remains hanging there for millions of years? What does the scientist say? According to the scientists, 460 crore years back, a huge cloud of gas and dust was floating in space, made up of 91% hydrogen, 8% helium, 1% rest other elements in terms of number of particles. The average temperature was minus 240 degrees centigrade. At minus 240 degrees centigrade, out of the 4 basic fundamental forces of nature, only one type of force comes into play, and that is the force of self-gravity. The force of self-gravity will attract the periphery of this gas cloud towards the center. As the gas goes towards the center, the central density rises. As the density builds up, the pressure builds up. As the pressure builds up, temperature rises. And starting from minus 240 degrees centigrade, the temperature rose to a fascinating level of 1.5 crore degrees centigrade, which is enough to create a situation. 4 hydrogen nuclei, 4 protons, as they are called, they as if at that temperature, as if they come together, fuse together, and produce effectively a helium nucleus, hydrogen to helium. This thermonuclear fusion reaction on Earth has been done, but scientists cannot control it. That's the reason they use it to explode a hydrogen bomb. But inside the sun, in a very regulated manner, when 4 hydrogen nuclei gets converted, transformed to a helium nucleus, huge amount of energy is produced. As the energy tries to come out, it produces a back pressure called radiation pressure. And this radiation pressure, when it exactly balances and matches the inward force of gravity, sun being a ball of gas remains hanging there for millions of years. Amazing. Sun's energy is our life. That I'm lifting my finger, my voice is loud. Where from the energy? It is the sun's energy synthesized by the plant as a glucose, and that through that glucose, I can have the energy to live. And to imagine, to understand that we are all there because 15 crore kilometers away in a ball of gas, 2 opposite forces are continuously cancelling each other. That's why sun is there. That's why we are here. And we think we are so powerful, either political power or muscle power or money power or intellectual power. But we are just figments of existence because of some accidental happenings in the universe. How did the solar system happen? It was this huge cloud of gas with a spin. So as it was becoming smaller because of the spin, because of what is known as conservation of angular momentum, it condensed into a disk. At the central part of the disk, when the temperature rose to 1.5 crore, sun was born, and in the outer periphery, when the temperature was less, gas and dust condensed, coagulated, and gave birth to our planetary system. If you go to the sun, bring the sun, cut it like a watermelon, inside there are 3 regions. At the very center where the thermonuclear fusion reaction is going on is called the core. And the energy that is produced on the core for a huge volume, it freely flows. It is called the radiative zone. And then above the radiative zone, Amazing. There are pillars of gas, columns of gas stacked one after another. Heat comes from inside, hits the bottom layer of the gas pillar. Gas, when it is heated, rises up, comes to the surface, deposits the heat as sunlight, becoming cold like a fountain, goes down and continuously dredges the heat from inside. This is called the convective zone. Outwardly, sun is again divided into three regions. The sun that you get to see in the early morning or late evening, does a Surya Pranam or look at it, take a photograph. That is called the photosphere, sphere of light. Above the photosphere, which you cannot see on other times, there is a thin layer of exquisitely beautiful pink-colored gas called chromosphere. The word chroma means color. And for thousands and thousands of kilometers, a milky white radiation called corona. My friend, the meaning of corona in Latin means crown. Don't think coronavirus has taken the name from the sun's corona. Anything which looks like a crown, because the coronavirus shape is those crown-like things coming out. That's why it's called coronavirus. Beautiful picture of the photosphere. Beautiful picture. See these granulations. Each is a cell of gas, pillar of gas. Do you know what is the actual size? 952,000 kilometers in diameter. Below, the fantastic picture of the chromosphere taken during a total solar eclipse. Spikes of pink-colored gas coming out from the surface. And this is one of the most beautiful picture of nature, solar corona, taken during a total solar eclipse by a very expert person in US called Fred Espenard. Sun sometimes becomes active. Sometimes you get to see black splotches, kale dhabbas on the surface of the sun. Sometimes one, sometimes 10, 20 in a group. They are called Shaura Kalank, sunspot. What are they? The surface temperature of sun is 5,600 degrees centigrade. At that temperature, gas cannot remain as gas. It becomes what is known as plasma. Plasma TV, same plasma. Plasma has a property. Wherever there is a magnetic field, plasma will try to get deflected from it. So from time to time, very randomly, small magnetic pockets do form on the surface of the sun. The column of plasma, from in trying to bring the heat from inside, if it realizes that there is a magnetic field, it will not come out straight. It will take the heat away from different directions. No heat comes out from that region. It typically looks dark. This is the true picture of sun. You will say, what nonsense? Yes, my friend. One complete year, every day the picture of sun was taken and it was superimposed on that. Sun is not a very smooth object like a egg yolk or something that you get to see in the early morning or late evening. Tremendous amount of explosions are happening on the surface of the sun every second. Thousands of tons of gas are getting thrown out from the surface, reaching a height of 25,000 kilometers, making beautiful arch and loops, falling back onto the surface. Sometimes they're getting thrown up with such a force, they get detached from the surface of the sun and flow past the whole solar system like a wind or storm, called sunstorm or solar wind. True picture, my friend. Do you know how big is this loop or arch of the gas coming out from the sun and falling back? This cavity you can see, 3 Earth can go side by side inside this cavity. That is sun. Though we take for granted, सुबह उठा था कल भी एक ही होगा क्या, फर्क क्या पड़ता है? Don't. It is a very active, very dynamic object, but its effect is making us alive on Earth. Don't forget that. And how big is the chance happening is that? Tell me. Another true picture of the sun in X-ray. Charged particle coming out of the surface. And believe me, my friend, if you don't believe me, go to the internet, go to NASA, anywhere, any website and see. If this charged particle falls on you, me, building, anything, instantaneously, poof, vaporize, instantaneous destruction. Why we are alive? Today we come to know in this evening hours, we are alive on the Earth again because of a series of accidents. One accident being Earth behaves like a bar magnet. So around the Earth, like a peels of an orange, There's an invisible magnetic shield. This charged particle, they come and slam onto the magnetic shield, cannot enter, flow past the Earth, and we think we are the king and queen of ourselves. We are the boss. But in the north and south magnetic polar region, there is a gap. This charged particle, they do enter the Earth's atmosphere through this gap. Before hitting the ground and destroying everything, they interact with the air molecules and make the air glow, and we call it aurorae. Aurora borealis in northern hemisphere, aurora australis in southern hemisphere. Nowadays, with YouTube and internet and Facebook, you have all seen aurorae, pictures of it. But believe me, experiencing one personally. 2005, I was in the northernmost part of Norway with one of my friends. That day, that the temperature there was minus 35, minus 36 degrees centigrade. In our small digital camera, amazing. Like a chiffon carton, it will sway, change colors, change position, can stay there for 3 to 3.5 days in the sky. And that reminds us, apart from the beauty, sun is intimately interacting with Earth every second of our existence. A little bit this way, that way, now. Just raise your hands and wait for things to happen. No power on Earth, no military power, no political leaders, no rich person can stop sun destroying us if things go bad. Solar system. How did it all happen? As I mentioned, 4.6 billion years back, as from the disk of gas and dust at the center, sun was getting born. In the outer periphery, gas and dust condensed, coagulated, collided, gave birth to very hot spherical objects. For millions of years, they dissipated away the heat, and at least the first four, Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, became rocky, terrestrial, solid. Whereas Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, though they are big, and at least 2 of them are actually worshipped, they are made up of gas. They are not even solids. This is a collage of all true color pictures. First is Mercury, next is Venus. You do not get to see the surface of Venus, covered by a thick layer of cloud made up of concentrated sulfuric acid vapor. 95% of the atmosphere is carbon dioxide. As a result, the greenhouse effect is so critical, it being the second planet is still the hottest planet of the solar system. Next is our Mother Earth. Let us not talk about her tonight. Next is the red planet Mars. Red, why? Rusting on the surface. Ferrous and ferric oxide covers the surface. But this 2002 photograph taken by Hubble Space Telescope has interested the scientists because in the polar region, they have found white sediments. According to them, these white shades are a mixture of water ice and carbon dioxide ice. According to them, even if a part of it is water ice, maybe liquid water used to flow on the surface of the Mars sometime back. And liquid water on Earth is synonymous with life. So was there life on Mars? Is there still life on Mars? Very big question. Because, my friend, those life will not be like us. They may be even bacteria, parasite, viruses. And they can cause destruction and death of the Earth itself. Like this corona that is causing this tremendous loss. So, scientists have to know about it. Next is Jupiter, 319 times heavier it takes than Earth. Takes 11.86 years to go around the sun once, but takes only roughly 10 hours to go around itself. With a tremendous speed, it has drawn the clouds of the atmosphere and created this belt-like structure. Till today, more than 80 moons have been discovered of Jupiter. Then Saturn. I think the most beautiful planet of the solar system. Fantastic ring system. Takes 29.4 years to go around the sun. Also has around 80 satellites or moons. Uranus with a ring, Neptune, blue in color, covered by methane-bearing clouds. And our Nandemunne Pluto with 3 of its major moons, Charon, Nix, and Hydra. Mars. Last 5-6 years, Mars this, Mars that. Every time, 2 to 3 months, newspaper, television channels, NASA, ISRO. Why? Because they have found these sort of geomorphological structures. As if liquid water has cut through the ravine, to the terrains, created these ravines, as if liquid water was there. So in 2008, Phoenix spacecraft landed onto Mars. Among a lot of other instruments, it had a robotic arm, which is supposed to scratch a little bit of the Martian surface and see whether below the surface there is any water ice. I'm showing you very rare photographs from NASA. On the 20th day of operation, as it scratched a little bit, it found a white sediment. People thought it may be a layer of salt as well. But you see in the inside 3 white pebbles, after 4 days not to be seen. This is the first time human civilization have found proof of water ice outside the boundary of Earth. And this picture takes the cake. 2012, this picture was taken, a sidewall of a huge trough on Mars. Summertime, you see these black things. Winter, not there. Liquid water was found floating on the surface of Mars. Immediately, scientists realized we have to do something about it. We have to know more deeply for the sake of the human civilization, not just for spending billions of dollars making fancy satellites, but for our existence, for increasing our knowledge base. 2012, Curiosity landed on Mars. The first set of pictures it sent out, amazing, totally dried up riverbeds, as you get to see in the Chotanagpur Plateau area during summertime. In the rainy seasons, gets totally flooded out, totally dried up riverbed. Pebbles occur on Earth whenever big stones are rolling through water, smashing against each other, becoming small and smoothened because of the rolling through the water. And they found pebbles. Definitely there was liquid water one day on Mars. And when the whole world was jumping up and down what to do about Mars, 2012, 15th of August, it was decided, the then Prime Minister in the Lok Sabha decided that India should have our Mars mission. Throughout the world, people started laughing. Every major countries. India, our neighbor China, actually came out with a statement. The Indian scientists are going to prove themselves clowns and jokers in front of the whole international community. But we know the story. 5th of November 2013, our Mangalyaan was sent onto space, sitting atop a PSLV X-25 rocket from the Sriharikota Satish Dhawan Space Center. And 24 September 2014, at 8:02 a.m., Mars orbiter missioner Mangalyaan successfully entered the Martian orbit. Believe me, my friend, I am a proud Indian. Whatever is happening, I understand whatever is happening. It is because of some problem somewhere. But believe me, in general, the science and technology scenario of the country, the scientists of the country is making all of us proud. Starting from 1967 till today, 53 missions to Mars by three major countries. Out of 53, 25 were successful. And India became the 4th country, but 1st country in the world in its first attempt successfully entered Mangalyaan on the orbits of Mars. That is Indian science. I hope the general people, the politicians, the policymakers should listen to the scientists, not listen to something else coming from somewhere above. It's a moment of tremendous pride and achievement. But I still find a lot of people are skeptical. 484 crore rupees spent on a mission called Mangalyaan by India, by a country which cannot feed 27% of its population 2 square meals a day. BPL, below poverty level. Was it necessary? To them, I very humbly say, 2014, the Diwali budget for firecrackers in India was 5,100 crore rupees. And this is 480 crore rupees. After all this, you have to say that. How much money do you waste? On what? Enjoyment. Good, but wasteful enjoyment. It only goes to pollute the nature, nothing else. Delhi's, Kolkata's, Mumbai's here after 2 days of Diwali remains totally polluted. And we think, how many numbers of firecrackers I'm exploding that tells upon my prestige and my amount, the quanta of my happiness. It's a show of our power and money, nothing else. But those amount of money can go to India development. Imagine each person in India decides this Diwali will burn a diva, light a diva, but no fireworks. That money can produce 10, 15 Mangaljans. We should understand that. See the first image sent by Mangaljan, considered as one of the most high resolution image ever taken of the planet Mars by a camera built only by Indian scientists. We cannot really fathom the depth or the height at which the Indian science has risen. See, two-dimensional photographs. NASA has bought 200 of these shots to make three-dimensional topography of Mars from two-dimensional images. Resolution is so high. Feel proud of India. But at the same time, my friend, through your youth, through your resolve, through your power, through your achievement, try to better India. Not just think about you, your family, your home, your bank balance, how many apartments you have, what a make of car you have, how many trips to foreign countries for holidays you have. Feel for the country. Each of you, without joining the Army, Navy, or Air Force, is our soldier for future of this country. And you have to have the resolve. You have to take the difficult route. Just to give you an idea, I was thinking the other day, even if a soldier realizes that they are being sent on a mission, wherefrom only 50% of them will return. But he has to go and he goes. He doesn't think, oh, मेरा बेटा को मत ले जाओ, नहीं हमारा तो कितना है पैसा है, वो छोड़ो ना, ठीक है हम लोग कुछ shortcut बता लेंगे. Life is not like that. And you also know this year it is very important for Mars. United Arab Emirates sent Amal, which is going round Mars. Tianwen-1 sent by China going round, and on May probably they will drop a rover. And Perseverance with its helicopter ingenuity. It's a marvel because the descent itself, which is totally automated, dictated by the onboard computer, that's a technological and engineering marvel. No communication was sent. Only through the stored data, it analyzed where to land, took photographs, see whether this is hazardous, shift the place of landing, and landed. And actual picture taken from Perseverance, Mars. Imagine 50-55 crore kilometers away, a piece of land. One day, your generation maybe, or your next generation will be walking on this planet. And the helicopter ingenuity, see for yourself. It's an amazing, amazing stuff. For the first time of the human civilization, a helicopter actually made its flight on another planet. Not only that, an instrument called MOXIE from the carbon dioxide atmosphere has produced oxygen, 6 grams per hour, because it's a small instrument, but 6 grams per hour for an astronaut is enough oxygen for 15 minutes. So think of 100-ton MOXIE. It can produce oxygen for all the astronauts and also for the fuel for the rockets to come back to Earth. Out of thin air, out of carbon dioxide, it produces oxygen. Amazing. And our Chandrayaan, 22nd July 2019, went on to space. People thought since it could not reach, it's a failure. People thought that. But believe me, 95% of Chandrayaan-2 is functional and working. And India's future is very, very promising. With list of space missions already lined up and getting planned. Saturn, beautiful ring system. How big is the ring? You see the Earth in comparison. and made up of ice crystals and pebbles. How come ice crystals and pebbles keeping their shape and size going around Saturn on a orderly fashion? It's an amazing thing. Suppose, this is a very friendly chat in astronomy. Don't take it as a webinar, or I'm not that serious person. Suppose some spacecraft in your mind takes you there. And suppose you meet an alien. I do not know what is an alien. Whether aliens are there also, I don't know. But suppose, and the alien asks you, looks at you and says, who are you? What answer you will give? You cannot say, I'm a human being. What is a human being? Because millions of kilometers, nothing called human being. So you have to describe yourself. Well, how do you do? Next picture. You have to tell to the alien, sir or ma'am, me, 780 crore living things like me, millions of other living things, all plants, animals, rivers, forests, oceans, land, is actually in this white dot. The picture of Earth from Saturn. You have to tell them, sir, I'm a micro dot in that dot, you know. That is my importance, sitting on Saturn. So all this ego that we have now, हम ये करेंगे, वो करेंगे, जीत के लेंगे, लूट के लेंगे. Patience. We are tiny speck, smaller than a speck of dust in the whole existence. That's why it is always better to think as collectives. Think of others. Think of the society. Because alone, you are helpless. You really cannot do anything. आज जो राजा, काल वो रास्ते में बैठेगा. लेकिन if you can make a group of people, good-minded, welfare-minded people, they can not only survive, they can continue, they can help each other. But sorry to say, our generation, that is your parents' generation, in general, are teaching you something else. सिर्फ अपनों को देखो. Try to succeed in life by whatever means. एक बार हो गया, बैंक बैलेंस हो गया, सब कुछ हो गया, earthly comforts हो गया, बस you are successful, my beta. What is success? Tell me. At today's time, the richest fellow, the most glamorous person, they are falling onto COVID. Money, power, could not buy them any relief. They were not separated by their wealth. So success is living happily, peacefully, healthily, a long life and helping others. That, my friend, at my very old age, all this become white, I have realized. 1801, Italian astronomer Giuseppe Piazzi discovered a piece of rock 900 kilometers in diameter between the orbit of Mars and Jupiter, called it Ceres. People thought a new planet has been discovered. But within a couple of years, 3 more, Pallas, Vesta, and Juno, each around 500 kilometers in diameter, were discovered in the same region between the orbit of Mars and Jupiter, going around the sun. People realized a new class of object is getting discovered. And starting from 1801 till today, thousands and thousands and thousands pieces of rock, 10, 20, 30, 100, 5 kilometers in diameter, have been observed in that region between the orbit of Mars and Jupiter, going around the sun. They are called asteroids, Grohanu. The next picture is a true representation of NASA. Here, each green dot is a discovered asteroid. And it can jolly well happen, going round and round, they can come and hit the Earth. These red dots, they are called Apollo asteroids. They can hit the Earth in their collisional course. And their orbits are such. If you ask me, when can that happen, sir? Believe me, my friend, not even 1% of, I'm doing drama, any point of time. As I'm giving this lecture, it can happen now, it can happen 10 years later, it can happen 10 lakh years later, nobody knows. 13,000 Apollo asteroids has the potential of colliding with Earth. When it can happen, nobody knows. That we are alive on Earth is just sheer accident. You should understand that. No power on Earth can stop that. 1/5, 1/6, 1/7 of the Earth will blow apart. The heat will be so much, instantaneous vaporization, trillion, million degrees centigrade temperature. But we are alive and we are happy, not by not knowing this, but by knowing life is so rich. Life is so invaluable, priceless. And now the scientists have realized these asteroids, they are huge deposits of very rich minerals, including gold, silver, diamonds. So they have started thinking of mining the asteroids. Only last year, a Japanese spacecraft called Hayabusa 2 landed onto an asteroid called Ryugu, took samples and brought them back last December. This is the first close-up picture of an asteroid. And we all know October, Osiris-Rex, another spacecraft, landed onto a small piece of rock called asteroid Bennu and has collected the sample and is on its way towards Earth to understand what it is made up of. There are a lot of ideas given that if an asteroid comes towards Earth, how to save. Nothing has been proved. By sending a rocket with an atom bomb, by sending huge spacecraft, which by their gravity will deflect it, by putting a sail on the asteroid so that the pressure from this solar wind dimension that will take it away, but nothing has been proven. Are there 9 planets in the solar system? Starting from 1998, 3 scientists mostly, as they were looking into the furthest most part of the solar system, regularly they started discovering newer and newer objects going around the sun. Funny names, Sedna, Quasar, 2004 DW, much beyond Pluto, size close to Pluto. So people started asking, if you're calling Pluto a planet, why can't you call these objects a planet? And if you're calling these, if you don't want to call these objects a planet, why are you calling Pluto a planet? 1930, Pluto was discovered. People said, hang on, it's not a planet because of 3 reasons. All the planets are going around the sun in almost circular orbit. Pluto's orbit is extremely elliptical. All the orbits of the planet are more or less on the same plane. Pluto's orbit makes an angle of 17 degrees with the plane and goes around the sun. And Pluto's orbit takes it through a region where from the cometary heads originate, called Kuiper Belt region. So Pluto was never considered as a seriously, scientifically as a planet. And when in 2003, 16th November, this was discovered, 2003 UB313, initially named, now it is officially named as Eris, larger than Pluto. Takes 575 years to go around the sun once. Imagine, our 1 year is 365 days. And this fellow takes 557 years to go around the sun. Imagine the size of the system. Now, what will you call it? It's larger than Pluto. So 2006, scientists decided to redefine the solar system. They said from now on, there will be 2 types of objects. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. These 8 will be called classical planets. And a new class of objects were nomenclature, they are called dwarf planets. Who became the dwarf planet? Our poor Pluto got demoted. And this largest asteroid Ceres and the newly discovered object Eris, these 3 were dwarf planets. In 2015, 2 more dwarf planets have been officially recognized called Haumea and Makemake. Not Make. Makemake is the name of an Indonesian god out of that. 2006, NASA started a slogan, follow water, liquid water. A drop of liquid water means millions of life forms. Outside the boundary of Earth, Mars probably yes. Any other place? Yes. Europa, Enceladus, they have found the surface of Europa and Enceladus is 10 to 15 kilometers thick water ice. Inside, huge reservoir of warm liquid water. Putting pressure from inside, cracks are occurring. And you can see through the cracks, hot water geysers are coming out. Millions of life forms possible. We will come to know by 2029 when a powerful drilling machine will drill through 10 to 15 kilometers of ice. It will take 5 years to reach there from 2024 to 2029. And my friend, just another 10 years, you will all come to know life is not particular to Earth. Life is an universal process. Life is spread everywhere. We have no idea about those life forms, whether they are dangerous, they are helpful, they are our enemy, they are our friend. They are totally different than us. Within your lifetime, another 10 years just, you will come to know. If you say, we are the best, life is only possible in Earth, we are the best life, is one of the fullest person. Life is everywhere. Take you out of the solar system. I don't have much time, but I'll just try to talk a little bit. If you're not getting bored, my friend, right? I hope you're not getting bored, right? Amazing. True picture of the sky. You will say, what nonsense. When I look into the evening in the sky, two lighted dot stars and totally black in between. Where from you are getting this photograph? Do you know why we don't get to see this? Because the problem is with the human eye. Human eye has something called perception of vision. Within 1/10 of a second, whatever amount of light enters through our pupil, falls on the retina, the optic nerve immediately takes them to the back of our head at the optic lobe to create an image. Our eyes cannot integrate light like a CCD camera. If our eyes were like a CCD camera, looking in a particular direction in the sky for 10, 15, 20 hours continuously, we should have seen almost every dot in the sky there is a star. Huge gas clouds of all colors of nature. Are all the stars like the sun? Answer yes and no. Why yes? Because most of the stars are burning hydrogen to helium. Why no? Because they come with different initial mass, different surface temperature, different chemical composition. In terms of mass, stars can come in the range of 0.08 to 100 times the mass of sun being 2 followed by 30 zeros, 2 into 10 to the power 30 kilograms. In terms of surface temperature, stars can come in the range of 50,000 to 1800 degrees centigrade. And depending on their surface temperature and chemistry also, 110 years back, a legendary woman at Harvard Smithsonian Astrophysical Observatory created a classification scheme. 100 years, science has totally changed, but nobody can dare touch a classification scheme. Believe me, my friends, astronomy is a subject where women has played and are playing tremendously important role. Because in addition to their ideas, intellect, concept, women folk has one thing which men folk doesn't have that much: patience. You need to be tremendously focused to understand. For 7 years of research work, she took only 6 days of holiday. Imagine. And according to her classification, the hottest surface temperature star, let us call it O star. Next hot is B star, A star, F star, G star, K star, and M star. Sun, with a surface temperature of 5,600 degrees centigrade, is a very normal, mundane G type of star. That brings me to the life and death of star. Stars are born out of interstellar clouds of gas and dust. In the sky, there are regions where one can see these clouds and also star formation processes. Do you want to see true color picture, not computer generated sky? See. Don't mix it with the cloud that you see now today in our sky. This cloud can make 1,000 solar systems. And the cloud that you see on the atmosphere is third planet from the sun atmosphere. See the beauty of nature. This is cosmos. Our quest for who we are, what we are, where from we have come, lies hidden in these. For yourself, see. But as a scientist, one has to say, this top, greenish blue, oxygen 5, oxygen 6, middle, blue, hydrogen, yellow, sulfur, black down, iron, green a little bit, zinc or molybdenum, white on the top, left, right, titanium. 2.5 million pixels, each pixel tells you a story. Don't forget, you have to be tremendously clever to do meaningful astrophysics. Because an astrophysical object, you cannot bring it back to your laboratory, cut it open, put chemical, test it, smell it, and say, aha, only the signal of light. Looking at you at this moment on your photograph, I have to tell what is your temperature, what is your mass, what is your age, what is inside your body. Can I tell that? But don't forget, looking at a picture of a star, you have to answer all these questions. Just the signal of light. See for yourself. You know how big is this? You see these dots, nodules at the top here? Do you know what is the size of each of the nodule? Each nodule inside has a fully formed solar system. Now you think of the size. Universe is throwing a challenge to your human intellect. You think you know, try to understand me. Try to go find my secrets. Stars are born, they have to die. Stars die differently depending upon their initial mass. Stars whose initial mass is 1 to 8 times the mass of Sun, like our solar system. Like our solar system. Just a moment, just a hello. আপনি ওই সামনের ওই বাক্সটা দিয়ে যান। একটু বেলটা বাজান, তাহলে লোক আছে, আমি একটু ব্যস্ত আছি। ঠিক আছে, আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, ওই সামনে একটা দেখুন বড় কার্ডবোর্ডের বাক্স আছে, ওর মধ্যে আপনি ড্রপ করে দেন। থ্যাংক ইউ। So, like our sun, how much hydrogen is inside for it to be alive, to burn into helium? Another 500 crore years, my friend. After that, when all hydrogen gets into helium, the energy generation stops, outward pressure stops, gravity takes over, it contracts. As it contracts, the outer layer contracts, the temperature rises in the outer layer to 1.5 crore, which is enough to burn hydrogen to helium. Gas, when it heated up, expands. So you will see after 500 crore years later, as you open your window, sun is becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. Suddenly it will stop and it will start getting bigger and bigger and bigger. How big it will be? In a small calculation you can show. After 500 crore years, sun will become bigger and bigger and bigger and touch the orbit of Earth. Yes, my friend. We will all be much before that, we'll go inside the sun. That's why no insurance company will give you an insurance of 500 crore years. We all know what is going to happen. Don't worry, 500 years, you and I am not, crore years, we are not going to live. Right? So don't be afraid of that. But the inside, it will contract, the core, helium core. And when out of contraction, the temperature rises to 10 million, 1.5 crores, so roughly 10 crores. 10 crore degree, 100 million degrees centigrade, helium fuses to give you carbon. Again, energy produced, they will try to come out, it will stop. The compression will stop. But soon, when all the helium gets into carbon, what happens? Since the initial mass of the star was 1 to 8 times the mass of Sun, it is not enough to produce more pressure to increase the temperature to higher levels. So the inside will be a very hot ball of carbon in the sky like a bright dot. It will become bright. It will be called a white dwarf. By that time, the outside has become so big, it slowly starts detaching from the inner core and create a cloud-like structure called Planetary Nebula. The word nebula means cloud. I'm not telling you a science fiction, my friend. For the last 30 years, these are the subjects of my little bit of research that we do. True picture of Planetary Nebula. Don't think only stars. These are also objects in the sky. And we could show almost 20, 25 years back, me and my group, that it is not becoming continuously bigger, it is pulsating. And each pulse giving away a shell of matter. And that shell produces tremendous amount of pressure as it moves outward. And we showed through an extensive computer simulation, 1 year it took for the code to be written by me mostly, that it can produce molecules. Nobody believed it in 1996. 1997, out of 72 predicted molecules, 68 were discovered. And most of the molecules has given rise to a new branch of science, astrochemistry, astrophysics, astrochemistry. And see the list of, I know, and most of you are not accustomed to this, but remember your 9-10 days, class 9, class 10. Organic molecules. So every star at its stage produces the raw biotic material for life. So not only in solar system, in the whole universe, life is very much there. right? If the star is a little bigger, 8 to 25 times, what happens? Hydrogen to helium initially, then helium to carbon. But the star is big, so more pressure, one after another. Carbon, silicon, sulfur, oxygen, neon, magnesium, iron. The moment it reaches iron, it cannot produce more pressure to create more higher elements. Iron is more stable. What happens? All these layers start falling towards the center. Poor iron fellow has nowhere to go. It becomes very strong, gets a kick, recoil, rebound, and explodes, called supernova explosion. And at that point of explosion, the temperature rises to trillions and trillions degrees centigrade. Starting from iron to 96 in the periodic table, all the naturally occurring elements gets produced in a fraction of a second. And they get thrown out into space. Now, if I ask you, my friends, that this end product of the star explosion is supernova producing all the elements, can it give us a hint? Yes, it gives us a hint about ourselves. Imagine a single atom of iron running through your blood vessels, the red blood corpuscles. Iron, right? Where from it has come? Of the calcium in my bones, where from it has come? According to the scientists, after 100 years of research, the only place that iron atom inside my blood, that calcium atom in my bones, it was originated billions of years back only inside a star. In the universe, there is no other process to produce elements other than hydrogen and helium. Whoever says to you, whatever, all of them as an agenda, you can make gold out of this, gold out of that, all nonsense. They cannot be produced, only except inside a star. So the golden ring that you're wearing, if just in the evening you look at it and say, where from this material came? From a star. Look at your body, calcium, potassium, carbon, nitrogen, hydrogen, where from it has come? From a star. So in this pandemic period, when we are going through a mental crisis, apart from physical crisis, this supernova explosion has told us, you, me, any life on earth, we are star children. We are children of stars. Right? That is the common link we have with the universe. So you see, both the cases, planetary nebula, supernova, starting from a gas, ends up with a gas. But there is a tremendous khichdi that goes in between. Synthesis of elements. Huge cauldron, as if, putting all ingredients, creating a cookery class or something like that. And that has given us, in the last 20 years, another subject. Because all the elements, naturally occurring elements in the periodic table, apart from hydrogen and helium, can only be made in astrophysical scenario. And that question, when added to the question, what is life on Earth? How did we originate on Earth? Is there life anywhere else in the world, in the universe? The answer is, life never occurred on Earth. It came from space. Not as life, but first prebiotic chemical material from space came and landed onto the Earth through these collisions. And by the earthly atmosphere, the water, the wind, the chemistry, life suddenly sprang up. So a new branch has started, astrobiology. Now tell me one subject: astrophysics, astrochemistry, astrobiology, astrocomputing, astrostatistics. What else can you ask from one subject? And technology input and applications in astronomy and space science has reached such a level, your everyday life is getting affected. Believe me. Don't think wo to NASA karta hai. Mera ko kya? The Velcro strap you used, it was first created for the space missions. The most of these foods that you get, packed foods, those were created for space mission first. Most of this material, the very light but very strong material, carbon nanostructure, nowadays we use in some of our appliances at home, those were made for space missions. So, science and technology is taking us to a new height. right? Time is not there. I'm almost overshot by 10 minutes. I'll not talk about this black holes and other things, but they are also very interesting phenomena. Maybe some other day when the sun will shine more brightly, when all of us will face each other in colorful clothes in your classroom or somewhere, we'll again meet. But I want to tell you, my friend, that this concept of universe, don't think they are only in the pictures. Don't think they are only in NASA with HST, Hubble Space Telescope, in the pages of the books or in the YouTube channel. They are within our mind. Look up into the sky, the dark sky, just today, tonight, tomorrow, and you will see your mind almost becomes vacuum. You forget everything around and start asking you the question, who am I? Where from I have come? What should be me? What should be? What I should be? You may get some answer. But in these critical moments, I will end by wishing everybody to be vigilant, responsive, strong, and positive. Because these are the major weapons, along with obviously the medical ones, to fight this war that we are having. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I would like, sir, there are a few questions students are asking.
Right.
So I'd like Shilogno to take over. If he can ask the questions. Shilogno, are you there?
Is Shilogno here? Okay, I'll be asking the questions.
Hello. Yeah, I am there. Actually, I was not allowed to unmute or something.
No, it's fine. You can start.
Yeah. Now it's fine. So I just want to say, after hearing to Dr. Duari's amazing presentation, including lecture, I can assure you that all participants present here right now are the luckiest person on this earth, including me. Since I swear this. Since it just took away from this difficult situation. It just took our mind away to a faraway world. Okay, now I am reading out the questions. Yeah, the first question I'm seeing from Tausif Ali. He's asking, sir, what about pulsars and quasars?
My friend, I told you about supernova explosion. Not everything explodes. The iron core that is there, because of gravity, it contracts and ultimately becomes only made up of neutrons. If they're spinning very fast from the magnetic axis, two highly charged sort of beam of light, charged particles creating that radiation goes out, and they are called pulsars. But quasars are something totally else. We know we are a part of a galaxy called Akash Ganga, Milky Way, 20,000 crore stars. But there are galaxies which are much, 1,000 times bigger than our Milky Way. And at the center of this galaxy, there are something called supermassive black holes, which attracts everything around, producing huge amount of energy coming out of it. They are called quasars or active galactic nuclei.
Okay, Tausif Ali, do you want to say something to sir? You can unmute and interact.
I think what you can do, Shilogno, there are at least 3-4 questions I can see on my screen. Let them ask also, right? Because I have already taken a lot of your time. You may be cursing me, kaun budda aa gaya yaar, 1.5 ghanta pura gaya hamara.
Okay, the next question is from Ashish Lal. He's asking, can planets die like stars?
No, stars and planets are totally different. Stars have their own energy production. Planets are almost totally dependent on the stars. So planet will die either getting gobbled up by the star or colliding with each other, destructing each other, or will have just a very cold death. nothing wrong, but nothing to do with stars. Next question.
Yeah, next is from Siddharth Raval. He's asking, can the death of a star result in the formation of a black hole?
Death of a star, yes. You are very clever. Since I didn't have time, I couldn't say black hole. Stars which are very big at the end part, they will not explode. But even if they explode, the inside core will be so dense, so massive, it will contract and contract. And sounds very funny, its volume will become zero. What is known as a singularity. Infinite density, the gravitational attraction will be tremendously infinite. But going to that point is difficult. No physics can actually explain that singularity. But around that region, there will be a space called event horizon, wherefrom light also cannot come out. So we cannot see that. So end of a black hole, the end of a big star into a black hole. Good question.
Yeah, next is from Rajasri. He's asking, is wormhole possible?
Theoretically, mathematically shown and possible. But real life, nobody knows till today within our capacity of understanding of nature.
Okay, Tausif Ali is again asking, what is the difference between antimatter and dark matter?
Out of pure energy, matter and antimatter forms. You will say, again, some science thing. Don't come to the Salt Lake Variable Energy Cyclotron Center. Every day they do the experiment. You will see out of pure nothing, a matter and an antimatter is produced. They again come together, annihilate and produce energy. Abhi tha, abhi nahi hai. Kuch nahi tha, abhi kya ho gaya. So matter and antimatter, one is opposite to each other in terms of their properties, but in terms of similarities, their mass and other things are similar. Dark matter is something else. Dark matter cannot give out electromagnetic radiation. You cannot see them. You can only feel them by their gravity. And they are theoretically suggested because you will be laughing. After all these big things, do you know, now scientists are saying all the material matter present in the universe, only 4% we can see. 96% cannot be seen. Out of that 96%, some of it is called dark matter, and some of it is a more exotic thing called dark energy, which nobody knows. It has a negative pressure. What do you mean by what negative pressure? You put your hand here, you pressure. Negative pressure ko kya matlab? But mathematically you can show. Thank you.
Yeah, next is from Manish Das. He's asking, is teleportation possible?
Teleportation in terms of this quantum entanglement and other things are possible, but teleporting suddenly you from here to Los Angeles, I don't think it is possible now. Maybe 100 years, 50 years later, I don't know what is going to happen, but not now.
Okay, next one is from Anirudh Binani. He's asking, sir, what are your views on parallel universe?
Parallel universe is a mathematical construct. It is one of the suppositions given by scientists saying that we live in one universe. There are similar universes, but with totally different physical laws. Newton's law will not be valid there. 2 plus 2 may not be equal to 4. I don't know, because that is a totally different, but we cannot communicate with each of them. They are like bubbles floating in big space-time. But those are all mathematical, nothing realistic or actual has been observed.
Okay, next one is from Yash Chamaria. He's asking, sir, do the sum of the individual parts of astronomy somehow less than the whole? Have you in your lifetime observed a universal pattern or a reason for it all?
My friend, a deep philosophical question. I don't know whether you meant it. If I give you a camera, put you inside a room and tell you that one single shot, you take the picture of the whole room. Can you do it? You can take the picture of the roof, the walls, the floor, but in one shot, taking the full picture of the room from within the room is not possible. Similarly, our consciousness, our concepts is a part of the whole. It will never be possible for us to form a singular concept of the whole universe because our issues are part of the whole. We can add on to different concepts and give us a full picture, but not in a singular way. Good, very good, clever question. Thanks.
Next, Shuman Pal is asking, can universe be considered as a sphere in sense of a Buckminster Fuller, and black hole, wormhole are the connection links among several universes?
Okay, two questions. Universe is maybe spherical, may not be spherical, but what is a three-dimensional spherical object? We don't know. Don't think we can experience three dimensions. We can only see two dimensions. You'll say, what? I am myself a three dimension. My friend, you are looking at a surface. This is two dimension. What is inside is three dimension, you don't know what it is. You take a box. Everywhere you look, there are 6 surfaces. 2 dimensions. Human being cannot see more than 2 dimensions. We think the 3rd dimension. Similarly, 4th dimension, space and time. What will be the sphere looking like in the 4th dimension? How do you define a sphere? You think of a ball, solid ball. But what you are seeing is a surface. This is 3 dimension. I don't know how did it look. That is one. And secondly, when you say wormholes connected to black holes connected to wormholes and other universe, science fiction and nowadays a couple of movies also, Interstellar and other, they have shown that. Mathematically you can show that, but realistically there is no proof. Proof of the cake is in the eating, so there is no proof.
Next, Shubham De is asking, galaxies look stationary, so why do scientists say that they rotate?
Suppose I am standing inside my room and I have decided in 24 hours I will go once round myself. Suppose. So any point of time you take a photograph, you will see I am standing, not rotating. But if you take a video of 24 hours, you will see, oh my God, it is actually rotating. So similarly, taking one snapshot will never tell you whether I am moving or whether I am stationary. You have to take series of shots actually to see it is whether rotating.
Rohit Walia is asking your views on the new photo of the black hole, which shows its magnetic field.
It is one of the most challenging projects that human minds have ever taken. Do you understand the result of that one single photograph, how long it took? 29 years. 13,000 scientists, 7 continents, 8 big telescopes, millions of work hours, and believe me, my friend, billions of dollars. Just one photograph.
Okay. Now, Anirudh Binani is saying...
That is what is called human spirit.
Yeah.
Each of you should have that. Sorry?
Yes, sir. Yes,
continue,
sir.
please. Next question, please.
Yeah, Anirudh Binani is saying, wish you could explain Interstellar ka last part. I think he's asking about going inside of a black hole and then...
Isn't our physics or mathematics says you yourself cannot go inside a black hole like you. Much before that, there will be something called a spaghettification. You will be stretched so thin, like a wire, you will be stretched and ultimately broken down into molecules and atoms and particles before you actually reach the black hole. That's all.
Yes. Ritam Banerjee is asking, sir, what was the concept of time before the Big Bang?
According to the standard Big Bang hypothesis, there was no time before time started. There was no space before it was created. Time and space started with the concept of Big Bang. But in the later part of this era, string theory came onto existence where they talk of higher dimensions, right? All the other dimensions get compactified in these 4 dimensions, all sorts of things which I'm not going to talk about because this is not in the scope of the flavor of this lecture today. But according to us, time started 13.72 billion years back. 1,372 crore years back, time started. It sounds like as if God is saying, right? But that is.
Sir, but I have a question in this regard, sir.
Right.
So, like recently, I read about that Roger Penrose's theory of the cyclical, cyclical behavior of the entire universe, where there was one universe before the Big Bang. So that contracted into a singularity from which our observable universe.
Absolutely. It's called also oscillating universe.
Yes, sir. So in the previous universe, what was the concept of time and space? Because something had to exist from which a singularity was created, right?
My friend, let me tell you, very good question. And I appreciate your courage, right? I come from a school in Kolkata whose motto was courage to know. To know, you have to ask question, and for asking question, you have to be courageous. Otherwise, ये हमारा friend लोग क्या समझेंगे मेरे बारे में? You have to be courageous. Thank you for that. Basically, these are all mathematical models, my friend. Physically, visually, conceptually, what does it mean? I'm not very clear. I think nobody is very clear. But as a result of mathematical constructions, you can show that these can be one of the possibilities. Oscillating.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Next, Shomadrita Ghosh is asking, sir, is chemistry knowledge important if one wants to study astronomy?
Very much. At present, astrochemistry is one of the most evolving subjects. Believe me, in the last 5-6 years, 18 of my students have gone abroad, mostly Europe, to do their PhD from chemistry background. They did projects with me in astrophysics. And after one couple of them after BSc, they have gone. Some of them from BSc, MSc. One of your student, now he's a faculty at IIT Kalpa, right? Sugabanam. Srikant Sugabanam, he was actually our student at the planetarium. He went into photonics and other things and did amazing stuff. He's now a very, very renowned faculty. And he's very young, only some 30, 35 years at the most. Yeah. Okay, Sridhar Lohia. Yeah. Asking, sir, what about the unified field theory, which if proved, would change our lookout towards physics? Good question. Actually, one of the basic premises, pillars of our present understanding of physics is the unified field theory, right? Which basically says there was not 4 forces, as I'm saying. Strong nuclear, weak nuclear, gravity, electromagnetism. These 4 are the forces, fundamental forces. But for some people who are not science background, I said, it became a little hot and sound came out. What force? My friend will be amazed to know this is electromagnetic force. Yes. You'll say, where is electricity? No current, nothing, but yes, my friend. So basically there are 4 forces in nature. Electromagnetic, gravity, strong nuclear, which acts within the nucleus, and weak nuclear, which causes radioactivity. So it says that all these forces originated from a single force. But as the energy of the universe became lesser, the energy density became lesser, one after another, the forces branched out. First branched out nuclear, then branched out weak, then branched out electromagnetic. That electromagnetic and weak are basically connected. That has been given a Nobel Prize to Abdus Salam, electroweak theory. Right? Then grand unified theory, the nuclear coupled with them. And then ultimate unification, gravity, nuclear, weak, and electromagnetic all together. This is the theory. At present, we believe in that. Believe. But we have proven it mathematically also. Proven in the sense mathematically shown the prescription, but believe in that. Thank you. Shumon Pal is asking, in Perseverance, carbon monoxide is produced. What is the fate of carbon monoxide? Carbon monoxide can be used for sometimes useful purposes, right? Don't think that carbon monoxide will be released in the atmosphere, a deadly gas, poisonous gas, and all the activists, the environmental activists say, what nonsense. No, that can be used in proper purposes, proper way. Okay, next, Anup Khandelwal is asking, what is string theory? Everything is made up of particles, right? Childhood, you have learned electron. Have you come across what is the size of an electron? What does it mean? What do you mean by the point? So Not this way, but in a very simplistic manner. String theory says every particle is made up of interactions of strings. Very, very small. So small you can't even imagine. Forget about looking at it. They are vibrating, oscillating, and each oscillation mode gives a name to that string concept of a particle. And they work on higher dimensions, 10 dimensions, right? What do you mean 10 dimensions? I'm not going to explain it now, someday later maybe. Because I think I need a cup of tea from your college. I cannot have it today virtually. But one day I should go and with all of you, if you are still there, and we can have a chat at your common room or wherever, canteen, and have a cup of tea. I think that we should come to the end of this because it's almost
Dr. Duari.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Duari, I think that much more than a cup of tea is due for you. I'll request some of the students to carry a memento for you at Birla Planetarium.
Okay.
We would like to offer it because I believe that you are not going regularly there.
No, at present it is closed from beginning of April. So we are not going there.
So we will be sending it across. And of course, we will want you to come over, and I'm sure all the students will. And we'll have something. We'll start something like a space club or something like that.
Yeah, when frankly speaking, I have been instrumental in St. Xavier's presidency, already had it. 5-6 colleges in Kolkata, even Ramakrishna Mission College, Narendrapur, and creating the nucleation of this thing. I'm not an active member, but we can nucleate something, and they are doing very well, very fine. And the members are going.
I think that kind of thing is due, and we can definitely look at something like that. And I think that everybody is fascinated. I was myself fascinated. I have been there throughout, and I can tell you that we have around 200 events in a year, in which about at least we must be having more than 100 seminars. This is one of the best seminars that we've had. Best session, without any doubt, because everybody is glued. And I'm seeing that even now, although it's taken so much of time, still 51 students are still there. And we'll definitely want to put it up on our college website also. We'll try and do that. And absolutely fantastic. I think there is one girl. I was going through the chat box. I think there was one Vasundhara Mishra over here. Dr. Vasundhara Mishra is also present over here. Sulagno, is there any other faculty over here?
Yes, our
any other faculty is present?
I am present here,
sir. I am here, sir.
Vasundhara ji is there. Any other faculty is there? I am asking that.
Yeah,
Acha, Pradeep Datta Gupta is there. PDG is
I
there.
am always present.
PDG, you want to say something? He's a very senior faculty that we have, Dr. Pradeep Datta Gupta.
Yes, I know him.
Pradeep, you would like to say something?
Dilip, this is, I think, in our college. Can you listen to me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I am hearing. Don't worry. Go on.
In our college, I think Dr. Duari, this is the 4th lecture. And all the lectures are fascinating. All the time.
Excellent.
Sir,
Mr. Duari?
I have heard.
All the time. All the time. It is fascinating.
Okay.
So, and today's lecture is one of the best lecture I have seen.
Yeah, this was a fantastic session.
Fantastic.
Correct.
Sir, I have also heard.
Dr. Mishra, आप कुछ बोलेंगे?
Yes, sir. मैं भी इनको सुन चुकी हूँ और बहुत ही अच्छा लग रहा है. ये सेशन मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है because I am really enjoyed it, and cosmic rays और ये universal जो रहस्य है इसके प्रति मेरा बहुत ही आकर्षण है.
Thank you.
That's why I like it. और इनका जो समझाने का ढंग है.
वसुंधरा जी, आज का लेक्चर आपके हिंदी प्रेस में आना चाहिए.
Yes, sir. हम लिखना शुरू कर दिए हैं, सर. No, yes, मीडिया में आ जाएगा.
और इनसे दुआरी जी, you can do one thing. If you can share your PowerPoint presentation, then वसुंधरा जी आपका हिंदी रिपोर्टिंग में कुछ फोटोग्राफ्स दे दीजिएगा कॉस्मोस का.
I have
फोटोग्राफ्स जो दिया है ना.
I have taken already, sir. I have taken already.
अच्छा. नहीं, वो आप में रेजोल्यूशन नहीं आएगा.
ठीक है, हम ले लेंगे. I will take from.
आप ले लीजिएगा.
Madam Mishra, if it comes out, please send me a link at least of the publication. I'll be very happy.
एकदम सर आपको भेजूंगी मैं. एकदम बिल्कुल भेजूंगी सर.
Dr. Duari,
Vasundhara ji, you just send the link.
Yes.
See, it will come out in Anand Bazaar Patrika online.
If you can send the link, then it will be
It will be
हाँ.
all
And
over
it
the
will also
world.
come out in the Hindi press, in English and Hindi.
Yes, yes.
And it will be on our college
बिल्कुल
website
बिल्कुल
also.
भेजूँ.
And I'm very happy
हाँ,
that
बिल्कुल,
Pradeep
sir.
Datta is present, Vasundhara ji is present, and so many other students are present. Sulagno has put in all this effort. I think it's an amazing. Actually, everybody forgot.
Amazing.
The most important is everybody
Such
forgot
में.
that we are all the time thinking about pandemic.
हाँ, हाँ.
I think everybody, you actually took everybody out of it, far into the universe.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
So
much.
a lot of questions have been raised also. I'm very happy. There was one particular girl, if she is there, I will like her to speak, who was very happy. She has been writing comments right from the beginning. क्या नाम था इसका? There was one girl.
खुशी.
Khushi.
हाँ, खुशी.
Khushi, are you there? Khushi, are you present? I think she must have left, but she looked overwhelmed. So I think altogether, a fantastic session, Sulagno, and we must have such sessions more often. Dr. Duari, you can also recommend other people who could, enlighten the students. You can also have them coming over and let these things, difficult times pass over, and we'll definitely not have tea, but we'll have lunch together.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
With those words, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Jalak.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sulagno, for coordinating it. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you,
Duari,
sir.
Pradeep, Mishra ji, and all the other students. It was your program, and I'm happy that you enjoyed it. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
Thank you very much.
I also want to thank
Thank you, sir.
Ashish,
Bolo, bolo,
Harshita,
bolo.
and Satyam. Yeah, I also want to thank Ashish, Harshita, and Satyam, who also helped me in doing this. And obviously,
Yes.
Dean sir, the Gaurav Killa, and Divya ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, of course.
And thanks to
Divya,
our
are you there? Divya, is
professor.
she present?
No, ma'am. So Divya ma'am is not there.
Divya is not there. Okay. Chalo,
Okay.
theek. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chalo. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Right. Okay.